it's still gonna be good with the camera. and shit.
Yeah, I'm about that. Oh man, Bradley, man, how them schools going, man? What them kids talking about these days?
I ain't been working in schools in like about 9 months.
9 months. When you going back? Where you going? You on sick leave?
I'm done with that. I do that shit intermittently. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Like every few years, I go into education for about a couple years, some shit, and then I'll move on to something else.
Brad, man, them kids need you, bro.
Yeah, I know. I know they do. It's like that shit hurts my heart, but it's like y'all don't pay me enough. This shit is real boring and like it's a mind numbing situation. So
What I want to do first? Chicago, that or the
The school system is jacked up.
no, it's terrible, especially for.
Tell them about the school system, bro. I know you know the deets, man. I was just talking to Chuck about that. I mean, he said he got some pretty good promises for us, man. He said he gonna pull some strings and get some pretty important people to come out here, and then we kind of discuss like a lot of the things that's been going on with Brandon Johnson, right, and what's been happening with this school board situation.
Yeah, Chuck know a lot of people.
Yeah.
Especially in education and shit. You know what I mean? Fucking city colleges and all of that thing. So
Yeah. So I just you have like a you do kind of know what's going on with that whole thing, like because I'm hearing about Delgado, I'm hearing about how what there's like certain things that people want to get done, and when it wasn't getting done, they left. And then Brandon Johnson just like quickly just shot in like some more people to replace him. Nobody know if they was like nobody know to what complexity they were vetted and all that type of stuff. So I don't know. I'm just I'm kind of a fish out of water in this situation. All I did was like at the best I kind of dip my toe in the pond here, but I don't know exactly what kind of what's happening. Like
it's a power struggle.
A power struggle.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Like,
Some TV shit sound like, but yeah.
It is, it's like like one of them soap opera type situations, but it's real though, you know what I mean? Because it's like black people are in a position the first time in probably forever that we've actually like been in the lead of this city as far as the running and all of that goes or whatever. But
I can't hear your voice.
Hold on.
You can just pull it in and rotate it in towards your.
Yeah.
Or just do that.
Yeah, it's a better position.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So like I say, black people running this city for the first time ever. You know what I mean? First you had Daley, then you had like a bunch of you had Rom and all of that, and you had Lori Lightfoot, but she didn't have like a black agenda. She had more of an LGBTQ agenda.
Right.
So now you got like a supposedly traditional black man that's running the show, and like he's directing the the whole like where it's going, and people ain't liking that. Other people say it should be a black woman running it. Other people say it should be like a Latino person running it, and that's the biggest comp right now. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of them, and they got like some powerful jobs. You know what I mean? And like I said, they trying to get in the city hall as deeply as they can, and they don't care about who knows. You know what I mean? Did you see that video that they had? I forget if the people got fired or not. But they was like, we had to take everything black people got, and like we doing it like no, I forget what the wording was or whatever. But like I said, they coming for war. They want to take over.
When this came out?
Probably last year.
Oh, last year, it should have fell on my lap. They talking about is like some citizens coming out and saying this, or
no,
what kind of
politicians? You know what I mean? Like I said, they I forget what it was. It was like they had a vote for like the districts and all of that. You know what I mean? Like they was gonna have like district president or something like that. And like it eventually came out that like the black population or whatever was bigger, so like we got a bigger piece of like the control mechanism or whatever. But they was really fighting for it, and like I said, they always doing that. And with the education, like I said, if Chuck was here, he could tell you how it's going in the pushing towards really Latinizing. I don't even know if that's the right word, is it?
Mm.
Latin. They trying to they taking they trying to take the culture of it and the direction of it and shifting it from urban black people to people of Spanish descent or whatever.
I did I did hear about that. I mean, we did just cover we had just covered executive order from instructed or given by Joe Biden, where they allocated a bunch of funds towards what they call I forget I forgot what the acronym was, but it was literally just schools. Excuse me, schools and institutions that service Hispanics. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's ELS or something like that.
I have to pull it. I can easily pull it back up when I go back and edit. But yeah, I mean, it's just like a service. It's just I mean, they just injecting money into schools that have I believe it was either 75% school population Hispanic. It was either 75 or 25%. But I want to say the school has to have a Latin population density of about 75% of the students need to be of Hispanic heritage. And yeah, they was gonna be injecting a bunch of money into all these individual schools. So so that's something. But as far as what you're saying, man, it's hard to tell. But I mean, when you see what's already happening with the immigrants and stuff or the immigrants rather, yeah, I mean, you already, I mean, things like schools, abandoned schools, different things. People people on Section 8 and these different type of government, government subsidied or assistance programs was people like Lee said they lost their place in line because of the immigrants.
Oh yeah, sure.
So it's already a bunch of stuff that's kind of already happening that make people feel like they're being passed up by these people that are apparently seeking asylum, right?
Like I said, I don't understand. It sounds like a move. How in the world can you have people come in or whatever and then get them $18,000 off the bat and free room and board or whatever? That's setting people up to to really ingrain themselves in a place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know of any other country. I've heard of places that say that they give you money to relocate there and plant your flag as they say or whatever. But in America, this has always been a place people struggled and they work real hard to come to, But now, if you saying, hey, here's some crazy level of incentive or whatever in an overpopulated and underserved country that, is already forgetting, its actual naturalized residents and, citizens or whatever, how is this going to, be a place that you even want to live, Probably in 10 years it'll be third world like a motherfucker,
Well, not only that, I mean, also to put them into black neighborhoods, man.
It's tribalism.
Well, we don't really have a lot of resources anyway. And if you're gonna be bringing people over here and giving them money, they have to bring some type of benefit to the economy. And so far, they haven't brought anything but crime.
That's the point, though. That's the point.
But crime and destruction, and
that's killing two birds with one stone.
Oh yeah, like I was just saying earlier, I was like, what is the fear of black people actually elevating or them giving us a leg up, even just leaving us alone and stop over policing our neighborhoods or stop locking us up for crimes, especially non-violent crimes, putting us in jail for so long, over policing our neighborhoods, sabotaging everything that we do. What is the fear? What is the deeply rooted fear that if we finally get a leg up or get the foot off of our necks, what do they think is going to happen? What is the actual fear for not letting us get past a certain point?
Loss of control.
Yeah.
I think that's something that time can also be able to tell. All right, so what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Chicago Black Delegation Podcast. I'm your host, HC, aka High Thinking. And we doing things a little bit different today. Just doing more of a conversation thing where we kind of just talk about a couple topics we got lined up here. We're not going to try to make it more so on the brief side, but otherwise, growth of the channel has been pretty much okay. We kind of been taking a little bit of a break as far as content rollout, but we definitely got content at the ready, already rendered and all that stuff. So you definitely expect that to come out. We got a host of shorts that we hope y'all engage with. Leave a like and all that stuff, and I don't know, should maybe even share it or whatever like that. Just again to get the engagement up, so we can reach more people, so more people can start engaging in these conversations, and so we can start to change this culture a bit. But yeah, like I said, so here we every conversation we have, everything. I mean, every sentence that's uttered here is normally is normally towards the advancement of Black American people here in the United States and abroad as actually. So for the most, and I think that a lot of our problems here is not it's primarily systemic. It's primarily coming directly from the government, but it's I think some things that we can have a change of heart on. You know what I'm saying? And for the most part, I think for the most part, it's us thinking more community oriented. You know what I'm saying? Don't just think about yourself when you make your decisions. Also thinking about your family, at the very least, your family members, because I think that at the very least will can change a lot of things if we just change our focus towards those things, especially. Anyway, look, I'm hard thinking. You can catch me on a couple different panels. That's all around YouTube and stuff like that. More on that a little bit later. I'm also the host of my own show, The Corner Show. Like how y'all typically run on Thursdays and Fridays. You're gonna see a lot more of that coming up, and I got two of my dope guests here. Why don't you tell them about what you got going on, Brad?
What I got going on?
Yeah, who you are, what you got going on, man.
Let's move on.
Brad, hey, listen, Brad is a smart dude. He's here for a reason. Yeah. Go ahead, Real.
All right, man. I'm Sherelle. Known on this show as Hollywood Real, but I just still working on my personal training, acting and whatnot. You know, just the same old, same old. Happy to be back and working with my man over here, Higher Thinking, and Brad. Just met him today. Seemed like a pretty smart man. So
I appreciate that, bro.
yeah, so I'm just happy to be here and indulge in this conversation.
Facts. So yeah, for anybody that's first time here, the people that's returning may know how we kind of do things around here, but I'm gonna intro and outro segments. That's how we kind of do things here. And so if you were to hear me, let's say, hey, I'll catch you in the flip side. It's been a hard thing. We'll see you next time or whatever. That's normally me closing out a segment. So how we do things here is this is just a pre-recording. We just record here and just have a conversation with you live. I think it's kind of fun or engaging sometimes like that, just to give you the raw side of the Chicago Black delegation. But it's really just a film for the edited the videos I'm going to be rolling out. That's going to be edited and cleaned up and all that stuff. So, but otherwise, so again, when I close out a video. I'm sorry, when I close out does not mean that it's the end of the podcast. It just means that we're just closing out that segment, and then we'll be introducing a new segment. And then when it's all said and done, you'll know it. We'll call it. We'll, outro it the proper way. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, yeah. So we got some decent conversations come lined up, and let's get started. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Chicago Black Delegation Podcast. I'm your host, AC Aka High Thinking, and today we're gonna have a conversation about the Chicago's debt situation. So I'm gonna ask you guys some pretty questions, just kind of get the ball rolling here. What do y'all think Chicago? What do y'all think just from watching the news or your history with the city or just this conversation you've had? What do y'all think Chicago spends the most money on?
Law enforcement.
Law enforcement.
Yeah.
What makes you think that, Brett?
I think it's like 200 million or something like that.
200 million? Oh, because you actually seen it.
Yeah, just the numbers alone. I think law enforcement beats education and definitely infrastructure. You know what I mean? They don't spend much on that at all.
You heard of the hiring freeze they finna partake on law enforcement and other government or Chicago, you know what I'm saying, government programs?
No, I didn't hear.
Or oh you heard that? Yeah, they doing so we're gonna like I said, we're gonna be talking about this debt situation, and one of the things that
just a few months ago they was saying that they was like, you know, probably gonna start importing police or something like that.
oh man, for real?
Yeah.
I missed that one. Yeah, well I'm post that above my head. Y'all can check that out. Y'all can check out more about that a little bit later. But interesting.
Have foreign nationals like, you know, as actual police officers or whatever, like upholding the law or whatever, even though they're not from here and they don't know what the laws are. So,
ooh, that's true.
That's gonna be very, very bad for the black community. And the reason I say that is because in other countries and other places, we are always painted as the worst people in the world. We're always represented as thugs, or we are always represented by our lowest common denominator. And people that's coming in that understand nothing about us, our culture, and already look at us as less than, that's going to be very bad. But to kind of go off what you were saying, I think we spend a lot of money on immigrants and housing immigrants. So,
okay,
yeah.
no other country does that either, right?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I don't know of any other country that allows you to come without, you know, being able to contribute anything. Like, you know, most.
Oh yeah, definitely.
well, we're not supposed to let them.
Like,
They weren't supposed to be let in, but you saw what happened with with our current administration.
What about when the Haitians tried to get in and they beat them back with bull whips on horseback, and they weren't even in America.
That really did happen.
Skin was too dark, man.
Holy shit, that was insane. Not gonna lie. I'm like, that whips, bro. You're like,
Skin was too dark.
Like, where did you even get a whip? You know?
Right, they took them.
It was
back
like
to slavery.
2020, 22, 23, something like that.
yeah, those are the type of dudes that get confused as to why they outlaw nooses. Like just doing it all, understand the cultural implications with the way that they go about doing things. Dude on a horseback whipping, attacking a melanated man with a whip is just like I don't know how they didn't really. But that's that's America for you, man. Like they don't want to touch that stuff either.
Did you see the video with the young dude? He was in Florida and he walking through his neighborhood and like he got accosted by like probably 5-6 adult white men, and they was constantly like following him down the street.
Yeah, that was new, right? That just came out, right?
Probably a couple weeks.
Pretty new, yeah.
But the one dude that was about to he went to the car to get the strap and everything, about to and his boy held him back or whatever. He wasn't even American. He's from Britain.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Like, how you gonna be racist against a black man in America and you not even from here?
Oh,
I mean, literally, your job is like he worked for the London Stock Exchange or some shit like that. But I'm like, he was stationed in America. So like, you here as a just on some like foreign fucking foreign exchange student type of shit. But then you look at this man and like, oh, he doesn't live here. He doesn't belong here. And I knew I heard it in his voice. I'm like, you got an accent, dude. How the fuck you got an accent from a European country? That's across the ocean. But you living over here and making money and shit like that. And now you feel like people that fucking like was born and their blood is in this soil and shit don't deserve to like be on the street. What the fuck kind of shit?
Yeah, it's the complex of thinking they better. That same thing happened with Tariq Hill. You got these people. Yeah. These dudes got accents, and they up here throwing this dude on the ground, act like this. I just don't think America is America anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because we got people in the Democratic office, people like Kamala Harris and Jim Crow Joe Biden, all of these very, very racist to the core type people that would spite their own face, you know what I'm saying, just to sabotage us, who would, you know what I'm saying, cause harm to the United States just so they could sabotage blacks. Letting all these people in this country, man, and these people come in here with this mindset that they just better than us. Like we are just lazy and we don't work hard or anything like that. But the truth of the matter is the entire United States is black culture. We created the music. We created what people wear.
That's
food.
The problem.
We influenced this whole entire culture here in the United States. This is our country. We were born here. We built it. We are the reason that this country is so wealthy as it is. And then some immigrants have come over here and help it, continue his legacy. But we're the starters of all of it. You know what I'm saying? And so then when you have all these people come over here thinking that they're better than us, they do nothing but internally they cause a war. And it's going to eventually get worse and worse and worse to the point where we're going to have to fight back. So,
Facts. Real quick, Skill jumps in to actually comments on what you had said earlier. Skillmonger says the fear that society has of letting us have upward mobility is and always has been retribution. So they're fearful.
So they're afraid of retaliation.
They're fear of retaliation. They're fear of we'll take what we've accrued and we fight back. I'm not fight back, but we get our get back.
I don't really believe that.
So
I've always said this, and I'm gonna say it again. Though we are great warriors, we have been shown to be great warriors and great fighters throughout history. No black person is sitting around thinking to themselves, "Oh man, when I get on, I'm gonna kill these white folks. Or I'm gonna do something to these white people." We don't give a damn.
That's fetishism.
We really don't give a damn. We just want y'all to leave us the fuck alone.
That's a
give us what we deserve and leave us the fuck alone. We don't give a fuck about. We don't care. I just want every white person out there to know we do not give a damn about getting retaliation on y'all. We don't care. We just want you all to stop over policing our neighborhoods, quit sabotaging stuff every time we do good, like Tulsa, Oklahoma, and other things that we build and when we try to flourish. We just want you to leave us the fuck alone. That's it. Pay us our money or let us make our money, and then just leave us the fuck alone.
At the very least, let us make our money. But I'm gonna need that. I need the right reparation. Yeah. So let's get back to the topic though. So you said they putting most of the money towards. They putting most of the money towards the police department. And Rail, you believe that they're putting most of the money towards immigration. I personally don't know, so that's why we here. So let's check it out here. I have an article from Chicago, from IllinoisPolicy.org. So this is about as. So this is an article written by Ravi Misra. I'm really not good with pronunciations of immigrant names. Or foreign names rather, but here it says the Chicago budget has grown by over $6 billion since 2019. Despite being bolstered by billions in federal relief, the city is facing nearly $1 billion deficit in the coming fiscal year. That's pretty much what the headline is. The Chicago budget has grown exponentially in the years following the coronavirus pandemic. In just 5 years, from 2019 to 2024, the city has added over $6 billion to its expenditures, a whopping 58% increase. The Chicago budget has been mismanaged for decades and is constantly facing structural deficits. You guys been kind of paying attention to the expenditures of Chicago over the past few years, especially under the Democratic leadership.
Here and there, but nothing concrete that would stick out to me now.
A 58% increase in spending, that's pretty insane.
What are we spending the money on?
They're finna get into it right now. With an influx of billions of federal funding for the COVID-19 pandemic, the city had a chance to remedy these issues and set a course for financial stability. Instead, city government decided to take on costly projects and build more debt. Now, with funds running out, options are limited to close a looming $982.4 million budget shortfall. So here it kind of goes into, and manager, I'm gonna when I release the full video, I'm gonna have the charts and stuff like that displayed on the screen, so y'all can have a better understanding or maybe a visual about what I'm looking at or what we're kind of talking about. Growth in Chicago budget by category. Here it says personnel costs, and everything will be broken down very shortly. Personnel costs is $723 million. General finance proceeds $776 million. Pension funds is $1.4 billion. Non-personnel costs is $3.2 billion. Imagine this is just one city. This is just Chicago. This isn't all of Illinois. This is the Midwest. None of that stuff. This is big money we're talking about for relatively large city. Don't get me wrong, but like man, regardless, non personnel costs. Non-personnel costs across different municipal departments comprise the largest increase of the Chicago budget, adding almost 3.3 billion. These costs include funding for the different programs and projects that the city is working on, such as infrastructure projects on O'Hare and Midway airports, along with funding for cultural events, equipment, supplies, etc. Overall, non-personnel costs have doubled since the 2019 budget, making up more than $6 billion of the city's 16.6 billion total expenditures. So, so non-personnel things like such as renovations towards the airports and different type of events and stuff like that. Um, any kind of comments like y'all think these type of things is kind of like, I mean, this is just how you got to run the city and stuff like that, right? Or do y'all think otherwise?
I think that the reason why the city is always in debt and always over budget is because there is no industry here outside of law enforcement and incarceration and moderate infrastructure, what I mean. But it's not anything that actually push. You'll never see Chicago as one of the most happiest lived or one of the best cities to live in the country or something like that. You know what I mean? I think Aurora and Naperville got that, they top 5 or something like that. But you'll never see that in Chicago because it's not based on families or being a wholesome place. It's based on being we get money fast, we crooked. You know what I mean? It's your quintessential, Gotham. You know what I'm saying? It's a dark place.
So when you say because the first thing you said there was we don't have enterprise, or I'm sorry, or a healthy amount of enterprise maybe. I mean, because
there's no industry here. You know what I mean? Where else do you see where it's not a thriving multifaceted business or industry?
I mean, we got a whole downtown with all these big buildings and high rises.
Yeah, but they don't do nothing. Everybody does the same thing. It's all bureaucracy and keeping this. I mean, how many of those offices are filled with lawyers that are pushing papers around? How many of those offices are filled with non-creative people that are just they cogs? You know what I mean? It's not even made to be passed on. These ain't positions that go to a younger generation every every 17 to 20 years or something like that. These people die at these jobs. You know what I'm saying? So it's
they're not grooming another generation.
Sense, yeah.
And they're not grooming another generation
exactly.
to take over where they left off and have a good.
So like I say, you leaving these huge gaps in society or whatever, and this is all that we do here. You know what I mean? Nobody pushes nothing else. You know what I mean? This man wants to to act or whatever. Are there really good avenues here? There should be for burgeoning actors. I don't think so. I'm not an actor, but
I mean, the acting here is for the most part on a grassroots level. Everybody,
exactly.
You got your skin bone, and you got your corporate, and you got those other guys.
You gotta get it from the mud, like I said. In this city,
get it from the dirt type.
All of that stuff ought to be already you ought to be able to go to play. Hey, I want to do this. Okay, we can give you this. We can give you this. We can give you this. And we even we got a platform for you and everything. None of that.
Yeah, ultimately to help those who come from.
You know
this
how many
city.
famous people come from this place?
Yeah,
This Chicago is 80% of all famous people come from Chicago.
That's true.
It's crazy.
And to help people to actually come back and actually put money into the
Exactly.
city and help
Hey,
the city.
this city, made me what I am or something.
Like
That ain't
we
really the
we
case.
spend so much money and so much time trying to lock people up and put people in prison and put people in the jail system and keep people from getting these high paying jobs. We not really helping people to want it. Like some people, when they leave this city, they never want to come back. They never want to
It's
step
not
foot back in
progressive.
here. You know
It
what I'm
doesn't.
saying?
It
People
doesn't
leave
like
this city and hate to come back. So
you can't have a dream in Chicago.
no, hell no, because it's gonna get killed either by the people
You
or
gotta
by
like
the system.
your dream gotta be to go somewhere else and do that.
Right? Yeah, because it's gonna be
You
killed by
can't
the
do it here.
by the system and by the people.
Gotcha,
It's dark. Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, more on the expenditures and stuff like that. But so here we go and they go into what they deem to be growth in non personnel costs. So so first category is infrastructure. Infrastructure is the largest on this list with $1.6 billion invested in infrastructure. Community services, $723 million. City development, $322 million. Public safety, $278 million, and then there's other at $293 million. A little bit more about this is infrastructure made up over half of the growth in non-personnel costs between 2019 and 2024, with an additional 1.6 billion annually. The Chicago Department of Transportation alone has added over $1 billion in funding. This is mostly due to transportation maintenance costs and engineering costs of various projects. Yeah. The U.S. Department of Aviation also added over $500 million in costs from surges in development and updates on Midway and O'Hare airports. Most of the funding for these departments come from federal grants, though they are also supplemented by various other resources such as corporate funds, vehicle and motor fuel taxes, along with airport specific collections from items such as charges and user fees. Community services adds $723 million in non personnel costs. This is mostly due to additional costs from the Chicago Department of Health, which added over $570 million in new funding. For example, epidemiology funding provided by the Department of Health went from only 5 million in 2019 to almost 300 million in 2024. Public health has mostly been funded through federal grants and is starting to see significant reductions in spending as overall federal grants decrease. Chicago's budget forecasts $100 million less in public health costs for 2024 compared to the year earlier. Other non-personnel departments grew significantly were the Department of Family and Support Services, which mostly to fund the care for Illinois' ever-growing senior population, and Department of Planning and Development. So just quick breakdown of personnel costs. Firstly, personnel costs added $724 million per year. Personnel costs amount to approximately $4.2 billion in 2024. This includes increases in wages and salaries, overtime pay, and unemployment compensation. Much of the growth in this category came from wage inflation and shifting of departmental workforces. The total number of full-time equivalent employees has returned to around 36.5 thousand, close to 2019 levels after the post-pandemic dip in 2021. The number of FTE city employees in Chicago has stayed relatively constant, with less than 200 net positions added over the 5 years between 2019 and 2024. Growth in personnel costs came mostly due to the benefit inflation and shifting of department personnel. Okay, so that was a lot. But for the most part, yeah, like we see a huge insert into infrastructure with it again with 1.6 billion. We do get some things that is good, right? Like community services. Just a reminder, $723 million invested in that, and then we have some city development, and public safety allocations. But yeah, things are just going. I mean, shooting high. Which I just, I mean, I just said to myself, I just said it like, in response to like this inflation situation, like funds allocated towards certain officials and stuff like that, or service people that are community servicemen and stuff like that. Yeah, they had to get paid more because of the inflation situation. Um, but yeah, like this is some of the stuff that I mean, it's good. I imagine then like the work towards I mean, whatever's going on at Midway, that stuff probably need to be probably maintained. I mean, I can't. Apparently, they're trying to add new projects as well, which I don't like. We don't know what's going on over there. Maybe we all can do a little more research as far as why that money needs to be allocated there. But also, like I mean, you saw what they did with 95th and the Dan Ryan. You know what I'm saying, with that with the red line. You know what I'm saying. And
What's going on with the red line?
I mean, you remember that big thing they built, that the red line, the station. You ain't seen it? It's like what? Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, what is it for though?
You gotta go. Oh yeah. So, but what you saying?
I said, what is it?
No, yeah, it's like it's just like a train station. It's just a train station. Yeah, but I'll show you a little bit later. But yeah, it's like they tore down one of the train stations that was like over the E-way, and then just completely renovated. Like looks completely different now.
They made it modernized or something.
Modernized, yeah. I haven't been inside of it, but look, the outside of it looks like way different. Looks way better, way more. It looks much better, but. Again, like
I mean, is that
people
for
would
show,
say this,
or is it really like for like is it making things better? Is it making it more safe? Is it making it more like
I mean, if you've been there, if you've been there,
travelers or what?
because I haven't been. I personally haven't been inside of it. Maybe it's more of a King Savage thing, but I can't really speak to like how, because like I've been there. I've been to the 95th Red Line. And it was, I mean, it served its purpose. You know what I'm saying? When it was, I mean, before they renovated it, but like, but since then, yeah, it's just, it looks just more modernized, basically, like working escalators and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Working escalators.
I mean, I can see that being necessary, because it used to be like
escalators always work.
Like when you come in like east on 95th Street, and you get out, like somebody let you out of the car or something, just saying hypothetically, right? You have to walk actually across the street actually to get on a train. So now they got it to where you can actually just get let off on the basically like the south side of the street and just kind of walk right under the tunnel and then just get straight on to the train like that now. No, it just walk. You know how sometimes you got the ramp up at the top and it's like the entrance, and then you can walk down to the actual train instead of them getting off over there on the south side of the street and then having to actually walk across the street, actually through the bus terminal and everything, and then to get on to the train.
So instead of having to walk through the bus terminal, you got to do what now?
I mean, you can get on both sides. I mean, I can see the necessariness of it.
I have no idea what this looks like. I have not.
Oh, it ain't been around that long. What, like a couple of years, maybe?
Yeah, it ain't been up. Yeah, it's probably been up since like 2020, something like that.
Yeah, it ain't been around that long.
Like I said, it's been like when I'm passing through and shit. Like I said, I'm on the fucking like the
expressway. Yeah. It's.
I mean, it's like it stick out like a sore thumb. Like if you just drove on.
So how much did that cost this year?
That alone, I don't know. I ain't seen it, but like that was a part of this.
Like the budget.
That's a part of this. That was like part of what was allocated towards. Right? But that happened like years ago.
Can I say something though?
They probably still paying on that shit regardless.
Yeah, of course.
You know that you know that when they thought they was gonna get the Olympics here, they spent a lot of money on infrastructure and building up Chicago because they believed that they was gonna get the Olympics here too.
That's why Michael Scott got killed himself, quote unquote.
Michael Scott. Who?
I don't know about the politicians that's involved in that.
No, I don't know about that.
Olympic Village
for here in Chicago. Yeah, I don't know about that.
People died over that, man.
They did. I don't know much about that. I know that they was doing all of this stuff to build up Chicago for the Olympics, and we didn't end up getting it. So
I mean, I think that's like, a clear indication to like what the rest of the country thinks of Chicago in reference to like us representing the world, representing America to the world.
Well, look at the crime rate, and then not only that, we don't. It's to me, I feel like it backfired on them because we already know what the reason why crime is so high in Chicago and in black neighborhoods because of poverty.
Yeah.
Y'all did nothing to stop that. You did nothing to stop poverty. But now you want them to have the Olympics here. And that's what your ass get. That's what you get. Because y'all did everything y'all could to make sure that we constantly keep killing each other. As well as put some damn violent criminals in our neighborhoods that come from another country. And we spending all this money on all this other stuff. But nowhere in there it talked about how much money y'all actually spent on immigrants and the billions of dollars that y'all gave to them to get free housing and free food. So,
Not to mention Ukraine.
Yeah,
the billions y'all sent to Ukraine.
They part of our pension program now. They I don't know how that happened. If you know how the pensions like work, like for real, you'd be quite pissed off about that. Like brief if my understanding serves me correctly, the last generation is the last generation and how do I explain this? The last generation funds the next generation's pension. That's how I read it, right? And we're supposed to serve the next generation's pension. Here's the problem: we have an influx of people coming from a whole other country seeking asylum, and they attach and America or government attached these people to the pensions that were supposed to be allocated to our generation, and then subsequent generations. Like our pensions not even promised at this point. And they just found a way to squeeze them in. Like who, you know what I'm trying, you know what I'm saying? So like, with us, we're gonna talk about pension like a little bit later in this video. But like, yeah, that's a huge problem, a huge burden on that you just casually add on to the people of Chicago that we did not vote on. Like we're the taxpayers, right? I'd argue to say that we should have some kind of influence on what we paying our taxes on. You feel me? Though does that not make sense?
Well, that's what representation is, you know what I mean? And when you got taxation without representation, you're supposed to have rebellion, but, they're trying to lull people into this sense of, don't worry about what we're doing to you, about what
just
your
trust
future
us.
looks like. Just trust, exactly.
But every time somebody do something that's against the government, they always claim it. Well, we got to protect our taxpayers and our taxpayers this, and we're going to do the rights by our taxpayers. But we paying taxes for immigrants. We paying taxes for the very thing that he just mentioned. Our taxpayers are not being protected. We being exploited, pimped, and extorted at this point. So I hate to hear them make that argument. We protecting our taxpayers.
All right, so the next section here is public safety. Ooh, excuse me. I'm sorry. The next section here is growth in personnel caused by department. So here, leading off here is public safety. Public safety at $284 million. Community services at $176 million. Infrastructure is $173 million. Finance and administration is $65.3 million. Public safety contributed to the highest growth in the cost for personnel. This is mostly due to the number of FTEs employed in the public safety, which comprises nearly 2/3 of total FTEs in Chicago's government. This is despite loss in overall position due to the city removing over 800 police and 1,200 staff from the emergency community's office, leading to much of the personnel costs coming from excessive overtime pay. Note that teachers and regional transit authority staff are not included in the city's budget. Community services Community services personnel saw the large growth in both wages and number of FTEs between 2019 2024, with the Department of Public Health adding close to 600 positions and issuing 41,000 increase in benefits per worker. Infrastructure personnel also grew, with FTEs for both the Department of Aviation and the Department of Transportation adding 628 positions and $100 million in overall costs. The key issues: growth in pension costs and debt. The second highest increase in cost came from the person. The second highest increase in cost came from the growth in pension funds. In 2024, Chicago will make over $2.8 billion in pension contributions, making an increase of almost $1.45 billion. This is more than double the growth of personnel costs. Despite this, the pension systems continue to be underfunded. Chicago's pension debt is higher than and Chicago's pension debt is higher than 44 states. Despite the high amount of federal funds into the economy, the city's debt service costs from out. Let me try that again. Despite the high amount of federal funds into the economy, the city's debt service costs from outstanding bonds, notes, and other instruments have not decreased. More than $2 billion in yearly spending is allocated to debt service. So yeah, man, this like what we was kind of just talking about. Like we have the city's trying to do what it can to appease to this pension situation and this debt situation. Like we apparently owe money to the debt. I mean, to the pension is like, well, what do we think that's gonna mean for me and you, and when we get older and stuff like that. And got me some of us may not. It's like some of us may have kids to help take care of us, but so what if our kids fall on hard times? How are our kids gonna be able to take care of us if they can't, if they can't maintain themselves, if not their own children? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you gotta manage your own future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if you got even if you in the pension system, have an IRA or something like that, because
you got to protect yourself. Do your best to protect yourself.
Entirely, because the biggest thing that I've seen is that they've never really invested the pension at all. The pension fund. It's how you gonna have I think they started off with 200 million probably 30, 40 years ago or something like that, right? And probably 20, 30 years later or whatever, they had gained 2% on that, 220 something million or something like that. And people are contributing to this on a regular basis, you know what I mean? It ain't just up to the to the city to make the pension fund happen. People are contributing from their checks, their salaries to this, and you supposed to be hiring people who can manage it and make it grow so people will have secure pensions and secure futures. But instead of that, like I say now, I think they constantly bringing down the percentage that you're gonna take home after you start collecting your pension and everything. They putting all of these weird stipulations in so they can keep portions of people's money and all of this kind of stuff. It's unethical, and it's manipulative, and it's lazy. All you got to do is, you paying people anyway. I think they paid the people that were supposed to be managing the pension fund $20 million. And this is in the 90s, you know what I mean? The early 90s, maybe the late 80s, probably 88 or something like that. They started, I think, and they got the contract. And when they found out and they did a whole, investigation of it, they was like, well, how come we gave you all of this money and all you was able to do, I think they made $2 million off of $220 million or something like that, right? So it was like, well, we were told to make sure that it stayed stable and that we didn't. I mean, it ain't no excuse at all, you know what I mean, for them to have that level of money at their disposal and not to have made at least some kind of numeric return. What is $2 million and $220 million? It's 1%, isn't it?
You said they invested $200 million and they got how much out of it back? 210? How much you said?
No, they had $220 million to invest, and
$220 million to invest,
and their profit of that that investment sum or whatever was $2 million.
Okay. Oh, so they only made okay.
In a 20 year,
In 20 years, they made
20 years,
like
they
well,
made-
yeah, like a 1%. Yeah, 1%
like I
increase.
said, I can't even do the math without like a calculator. So,
I mean, yeah, no, but you started. That's less than 1%. So you started at 220 million, and then you get and your only profit is $2 million. Yeah, that's
after 20 years,
after 20. Oh well, yeah, after 20. Yeah, you got a
like I
less
said,
than
that's a lot.
1% increase then over 20 years. It's pretty. It's like a what 0.8 or something like
it's
that.
incremental. It ain't even like I think it's like I said, that's when you start going into them, those decimals behind the zero. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah,
But so
that's like 1/100th of a percent or some shit.
I want to say it's 0.8, but I'm not even calculating. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, mismanage like this is another tech common case of somebody else mismanaging our damn funds. It's pretty.
Like I say, that
pretty
should be
sad.
actionable. Them people should be like fighting to stay out of jail. You know what I mean? But they they went off in the sunset, and they probably doing it in another city where don't nobody really care about what happens and what the outcome of these things are. And that's why I can't really I could never like devote myself to Chicago education because it's like y'all gonna rip me off and I'm not gonna give up that much of my life and that much of my time to be like to be like treated like a peasant in my later years. You know what I mean? While I'm young enough to still move and shake or whatever. Like I say, I use it from time to time for the salary, and then like I said, I peace out. I'm gonna go make an investment, and I'm gonna chill with that for a little while because it's too much stress.
Gotcha.
I mean, you gotta keep your shit simple enough to be happy sometime. You know what I mean?
Okay. So as we all know, Chicago gets funding from the government. So this will be our federal funding, and let's see how Chicago. Let's see what the city of Chicago has done with this funding. So this next session is the breakdown of Chicago's federal funds. It shows federal grant funds between 2020 and 2024 with the difference between COVID and non-COVID related funds. So manager again, I'm going to be showing you guys the charts above above my head when the video releases. But so here for COVID funds in 2024, let's just do 2024 and 2023 for right now. But in the year 2024, $4.38 billion was given to the city of Chicago from Joe Biden, and of that 4.3 billion dollars, 930 million of that was specifically for the COVID funding. The rest of it, $3.84 billion was that's the non-COVID funds. Funds allocated to us from the federal government. In year 2023, it was a much higher allocated funds specifically for COVID at a $1.58 billion, and the rest of the I think I read that wrong. In 2023, $4.63 billion was allocated to Chicago from the federal government. Of that $4.63 billion, $1.58 billion was allocated specifically for COVID, and over $3 billion was non-COVID related funds. So this is mostly due to lower spending for the COVID-19 pandemic, which made up over half of all government funding in 2022. Though higher federal and state funds not related to COVID-19 have increased, this has not offset the decline in pandemic funding. COVID funding is set to continue its decline, leading to an overall decline in grant funds. This has led to cuts in many areas in the Chicago budget. For example, mental health and behavioral health budgets have been slashed by nearly $49 million between 2023 and 2024. Youth and domestic violence funds have also seen large cuts. The $150 million pressure from the ongoing migrant crisis does not help matters. Benefit inflation can lead to cuts in future personnel. Inflation to benefit costs minus pensions have risen, and for some departments, they have far exceeded inflation rates. The Department of Health, for example, has average benefits inflated by almost 40%, with the average benefit per FTE being approximately $149,000 to $41,000 increase from 5 years ago. The average benefit in the Department of Emergency Management and Communications saw an increase of over 60% per FTE. These growing costs make it easier to justify costs in positions like the loss of 12,000 positions in the DEMC despite a rise in violent crimes. These inflated wages can have long-term impact for Chicago debt as they impact future pension payments as well, especially though for those under tier 1 benefits. So so yeah, what do y'all think about the expenditure or the how we've been spending the this COVID relief fund? I mean, if folks out there don't really know what's kind of been happening, yes, the stories have been all over the news regarding people and different type of political personalities criticizing our mayor, our Chicago mayor Brandon Johnson, for allocating COVID relief funds to immigrants. So, what do you guys kind of think about? What do you guys think about how our current Chicago's administration has been handling our COVID relief funds and our I'm sorry, especially our federal funding?
It's ridiculous.
The fact that they've been spending most of this stuff. I mean, this is COVID relief funds. Like, this is pandemic money. God forbid some kind of crazy outbreak happens where we need this money for something very specific towards like the us bouncing back from again
that
this
would imply
pandemic.
that this city ever cared or thought about having a surplus or like a backup plan or like something to keep you from falling flat on your ass or shit coming. They ain't never thinking about that. They just blame it on like nothing that they can put a finger on, and then put the burden on the people's back. They about to raise property taxes again like crazy.
I'm wondering if go ahead. I'm let you finish.
No, that was it. They about to raise property taxes crazy amount.
I'm wondering I wonder if they just ever take into account that people in Illinois are already paying the second highest property taxes in the nation. We're second to I think New Jersey, and that's it.
And New Jersey doesn't have a state tax.
Oh damn! Oh, that's fucking horrible.
You know what I mean? So you get to keep your your money from your FICO or whatever, and then you pay your property taxes is high. But like I said, in that state, how many people are property owners? You probably got more people renting. In which case, you still ain't getting that big of a hit. You know what I mean? But like I say, we got to pay state tax and like this absorbing property tax. You know what I mean? So what's the incentive to ever actually own a home?
It just seemed like they just fucking off the money and basically depending on us as the taxpayers to help them basically get out of it. You know what I'm saying? Constantly increasing stuff so that we keep constantly paying more and more for their damn mistakes or things that they're doing on purpose, because
there's no accountability.
No migrants should fucking be here getting free shit when you got people that's already been here who's already going through worse shit and been going through this shit for hundreds of years now. There's no reason for it.
It's called illegal immigration. Like I said, you can't just overlap the fact that you're not, that you committing a crime first of all, and then what's the, what are we talking about? Is there a plague in Venezuela? Is this something that people? No. Is it Godzilla? People running from? You got to get away from here immediately.
They just think they said the crime rate and stuff is too high, and they trying to escape from poverty. Well, you got people right here in Chicago trying to escape from poverty, and the crime rate here.
You cannot use that. That is no justification for trying to break in somebody's house.
But the Venezuelan government sent all their criminals over here.
Exactly, they always
do. So when they left, Their crime rate actually went down,
Went down, yes,
and
significantly.
ours went up.
Yeah, they cleared out their presence and all that stuff, bro. Like they had
Like I
to
said,
they had to
we
clean
don't
up
never
shop.
do background checks when Cuba went sovereign in the '80s or whatever. What did that bring about? The cocaine wars, and that lasted for like what 20, 30 years with reverberations that still exist now.
Yeah.
Well, United States was mad about that. They was very upset.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I think it's
That's
very.
all they want to be. Like I said, it ain't changed nothing. Like the reality was the same.
I think it's very deplorable that we spending all these this COVID relief fund on something as completely unrelated to not just the COVID relief itself, but Chicagoans as a whole. These people are not Chicagoans, bro.
They're not.
They're illegal immigrants, and it's like I said. I'm not necessarily saying that deportation is the only option here.
I'm saying
Perhaps we can just take these people and put
send
them.
their ass back.
This is an invasive species, like I said.
It
Let me finish. So I'm just saying that maybe we can just send them somewhere else, maybe another state or city that needs more a population boost or something like that.
That would make sense.
So
Because you know what states in this country that have like a population density, like hey, me and everybody in the state could go out and we'll be a mile apart from each other because there's so much land or so much space.
Oh well, yeah, that's
like, look at the Dakotas. You know what I mean? It's 600,000 people in North Dakota, and it's bigger than I think it's comparable to Texas or something like that. It's huge. You know what I mean? But ain't nobody living there.
Yeah, man.
Why they gotta be in the most populated places where people are already trying to manage what they got?
Because I believe it's a plan. It's a plan to keep us down. I believe it's a plan.
It is.
I'm telling you, it is a way to exterminate us in so many words. They feel like the food not doing it. It's not enough violence. It's not enough poor education. They got to figure out a way to exterminate us and keep us down. They just don't want us in the United States.
Any grandeur or whatever.
Let alone a major city. They don't want us here. And they think that these Venezuelans is gonna come over here and run us out in our neighborhoods and create a war in which we have to fight them.
It's subjugation.
But the only thing it's doing is backfiring on them. Because the Venezuelans is getting smart and going to the white neighborhoods and robbing them motherfuckers, putting guns in their faces. Not to mention what they did in Aurora, Colorado.
I mean, when you got a victim that's not expecting you, it's easier to prey on them. You know what I mean? If you got somebody that's absolutely expecting you to come at them, you're not going to be able to get them. Or it's easy, you know what I mean?
There is nothing that white folks can do to exterminate us. Nothing. We have survived so much shit.
I was reading this rest of this thing. Yep. So this is gonna be the last section. This is gonna be the conclusion from the author here. Chicago's ballooning budget is unsustainable. COVID funds are quickly running out, and the city has underperformed economically. Today, the city faces one of the highest unemployment rates in the country and a declining population. The city has lost population for the past 9 years in a row, shedding 128,000 residents. Chicago now has the lowest population since 1920, lagging far behind other large cities in terms of job growth. Much of the decline is a result of exorbitant taxes and city places in taxpayers for the budget. I'm sorry, I didn't read that right. Much of the decline is a result of exorbitant taxes the city places on taxpayers to pay for the budget. That's your property taxes, right? Clearly, this extra spending has not done much to boost the Chicago's economy. Rather, fiscal instability and the enduring threat of higher taxes and fees has driven people to leave and pushed away potential investment into the city's economy. This underscores how the city is spending too much money in areas that provide no returns on economic investments, such as the nearly $5 billion that the city is paying to cover debt. Lowering these costs should be the top priority for the city government, or else there will continue to be cuts in services for vulnerable residents. Chicago has faces issues with infrastructure projects going vastly under budget and completion dates being delayed. Not all of the costs are covered by grants, and many are passed along to residents and businesses, which can diminish the long-term beneficial economic impacts these projects were supposed to have in the first place. Chicago must embrace policy changes to ensure long-term economic stability and a well-maintained budget going forward. This can start with Mayor Brandon Johnson using his influence to lobby Springfield for a constitutional pension reform that can lower the burden of free up city finances. This city should also stop using one-time gimmicks to balance the budget, as these only add to future payments and debt services. Finally, the city must do a better job in justifying taking on new costs and rather focus on building up reserve funds to cover future shortfalls. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, along with the guy mentions like just adding creative ways to have the people pay for these mistakes that our current, or not our current, but you know the this current government, and it's for you know and those that came before it. I mean, what Lori Lightfoot built a what a casino. You know what I'm saying, in a downtown. And then I think Brandon Johnson working on another one. Well, they're working on another casino downtown. Like we getting out. So are we gonna just try to turn this motherfucker into Vegas? Like what's the deal here? There's another casino being built in like Homewood. That probably is one of the reasons why property taxes are increased in Cook County. It's like it's like well, like where does it stop? Like we can't, like they can't keep making these making these decisions that won't make anybody any money. You know what I'm saying? No real money for real, and just expecting us to just like deal with these property taxes increase. Yes, Chicago's gonna continue to see this decline in population because people are gonna be sick of living here because we're sick of paying these wild ass taxes, and like who Lord knows what else they're gonna try to what they're gonna increase, but is we already is like it's bad enough we dealing with the grocery prices, and then I mean it's even worse because we're dealing with property tax increase all over the state, I mean the city. Like bro, it's like yes, with the population being as low as it's been in 1920, it's gonna continue to get worse. And considering the world's population during that time period of 1920, and looking at it where it is now, it's completely unacceptable. Like that literally should not make any damn sense. And I'm just saying, like I understand how everybody feel about Donald Trump and the Republican Party and all this other shit, but there's a reason why people are moving, more and more black people especially are moving to these red states, because this things is just easier to live out there a lot of the time, like in a lot of these states.
And you have your damn gun rights.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because that shit that J.B. Pritzker pulled, that was some straight bullshit. But I want to ask a question. Do y'all think that Brandon Johnson and Lori Lightfoot, do y'all think that they're actually really making these decisions, or they have some powerful force behind them that is literally like forcing them?
Go ahead. I'm just
I mean it's like literally forcing them to make these decisions and sign this stuff into order and be the fall guy for a lot of this stuff. Because it seems as if they just don't really want blacks or people that don't have a certain amount of financial cap to like be in these places. Pretty soon, only people that's gonna be able to afford to live here is people that have a lot of money. So I'm just like, I wonder, like,
and that's gonna backfire too, because people with a lot of money are not gonna live here. I mean, if anything, like maybe there's gonna be there's a lot of, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of, financial incentive in downtown Chicago.
I mean, there's very few areas in the general city or whatever, where if you a person of means that you could live comfortably or whatever. Most people that got money in this region or whatever, they live on the outskirts. You know what I mean? They live in the northwest suburbs. You know, if they
Naperville.
live near like Cook County. If they live like, you know, in other places, they live like, you know, they don't live like where the people live. You know what I mean? The city has always been for the people. But like I said, they trying to get like real. I hate to use the word bougie or whatever, but like I said, it's been like a pride situation, and like, you know, trying to keep up with other, you know, major metropolitan cities or whatever as far as opulence and all of this stuff goes. But like I said, ain't never no real direction on how to make it a better place to live. What about, you know, these appearances don't mean nothing, you know what I mean? All of this, you know, let's modernize this and make it look like that. It's going to look like shit in like no time because you haven't like done anything to the surrounding the area, you know what I mean? If you got a Rolls Royce in the fucking ghetto, that bitch is gonna be on blocks. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not gonna be a Rolls Royce by the time that shit get fucking done.
It's almost like the rat experiment that they did. But I want to know, like, who is this benefiting? Who is pulling the strings, and who is this benefiting at the end of the day?
Man, I guess you could go to the 1% or something like that.
That's like if you follow money, it's most likely gonna lead to the 1%. That's just how I mean. Just look at like BlackRock and just see see everything. Like, dude, BlackRock like regulates like fucking $100 trillion. How much money is that?
It's always like
it's like some $1 trillion in assets.
It's only four.
BlackRock.
I mean, I'm sorry, not assets, but investments. My bad.
What is it called? BlackRock.
Yeah, BlackRock. Yeah.
It's only 4 major conglomerates that control like probably 90% of the food manufactured and distributed in this country. 4.
And it's poisonous, most of it.
Exactly, because they don't have no competition. They don't have to say, hey, we're going to use better standards and better ingredients than you because they in cahoots.
Well, the plan is to create so much of it. You know what I'm saying?
These are your new empires, though. Yeah. You know what I mean? These are the new Julius Caesars and Augustus and all that shit. They didn't care about the people. They used the people so they could lift themselves up.
Only cared about their pockets.
And that's all this is, you know what I mean? Hey, let's use these fools, these underlings, and these peasants.
These fools is the goddamn sedative, too. Some of these fools make you so lazy, make you can't do nothing.
Oh, this shit give you cancer, all kinds of shit.
Oh, yeah. It's sedative as hell. You be fucked up eating a lot of this shit.
Because your body is trying to metabolize this shit. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Oh, shit.
Pesticides and all of that shit, man.
I heard something crazy about the, like, you know, people's livers coming into the future and shit, and how they like getting, you know, like having crazy side, you know, like not side effects, but like, you know, they metamorphosing and turning it into, you know, different shit. You know what I mean? Like, because you know the liver, like, you know, it filters like, you know, all of the toxins and shit like that, even more so than the kidneys. But they saying that they getting smaller and like harder and shit. It's like, you know, so if your liver don't work, you know, you can't your organ function is done. You can't shit.
Yeah, you really can't fight off diseases and everything
within no time. It's like radiation poisoning. So.
Tragic.
Okay, so this is pretty much everything we got for this topic. We're on the Chicago Black Daily podcast. I mean, the only thing we can do to this is just keep reporting on it, and hopefully people can kind of collectively call to arms as far as like this outrageous spending. But I mean, the only thing you really do is just, man, the only part we really have is voting people out, bro, in this situation. I mean, maybe you can call your aldermen and stuff like that and try to have spark a conversation, maybe spark up some debate a little bit like that. I mean, but if you can't get, I don't know, 20 of your friends and y'all get the picketing and stuff like that, and really calling to question this type of thing in front of these, you know, these government officials, like establishments and buildings and stuff like that, nothing's gonna change, man. You know what I'm saying? And like, what's gonna be required to save the Chicago from like this? I mean, from this situation. Do y'all have any suggestions at all? I mean, what can you even like? I mean, I don't know. I don't want to break your brain as far as that, because it requires a whole lot of understanding of like you have to have a good holistic understanding of the finances in Chicago and stuff like that, and a good understanding of the GDP and stuff like that. But like, I mean, like, I guess it would start with the immigrants. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
But-
know I was about to say that. You must read my mind because I was about to say we need to get rid of them first.
Oh man!
And then we need to get rid of them first. And then I want to piggyback on what my man over here said is like start having more resources for people to make more money.
There you go.
And then give them the incentive to invest that money right back into Chicago. Because if everybody keep running from this city, it's not going to never get out of the debt and situation it's in. If we start creating more jobs and more resources for people to make more money, like they could start hosting Forex trading classes, anything, real estate classes. Since the property tax is going up, we could figure out some kind of way to help people to make more money instead of criminalizing everybody. Why don't we help them to make more money legally and do the right thing, and then give them advice on how to really reinvest that money that they made right back into the city so that we can start building up the economy.
The mentality got to change, you know.
Yeah, that's
The
true.
city's mentality is like, hey, keep these motherfuckers down, keep them under your foot, take whatever you can from, and like, let's do this shit again tomorrow. You know what I mean? That can't be the direction.
I think a lot
That's
of it.
exploitation and shit. And like, who the fuck wants to be exploited? That's got the understanding to know that they getting exploited. Nobody. So that's why we losing 50,000 people a year, some shit.
God damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, population been dropping for 9 years straight.
50,000 people a year. That's a lot.
So I think a lot of economic upward mobility, right, is going to come by way of better understanding of like some things that we learned from Dr. Claude Anderson's book Powernomics. I mean, there's a concept in that book called group economics where everybody, I mean, the simple like basic caveman understanding of how it works is I might have some minced chicken, right? You might have like a bunch of different type of mixed vegetables, and Brad may have the broth, right? Mm-hmm. So what can we like? Even all of us individually, we may have a bunch of shit that's like, okay, I got something, but I'm not getting no vegetables. Right. He ain't got no meat nor a broth, and you ain't got nothing to add to your soup. So if we all kind of collectively come together and put everything into one pot, now we all got a pretty nice meal. You feel me?
Right, yeah.
So that's what kind of the book is kind of for the most part talking about, but how we kind of how we like married these ideas, like learned in this book, into the current situation in Chicago is, everybody needs to have an understanding that, hey, we all need to put something into this stew. We can't just make money here and then move off to somewhere else and just spend our money in a completely different economy, because it's not. I mean, like, just think of it this way. Like, I mean, there's another like what people kind of, and there's people that kind of kick against this, but there's never been a good argument against it outside of always never been studied before. Look, if you have a city, right? If you have a city, let's say Chicago, right? And everybody in the city made money in the city, and they didn't spend money outside of the city. They if they wanted some groceries, they'll go to this part of town. They wanted excuse me. If they wanted whatever they wanted, if everything they want is within arm's reach and stuff like that, then them spending money within the city is bouncing the economy, is bouncing the money within the confines of the city. Like I would argue multiplying is usefulness. It's when the money goes outside of the city is when things become a problem for that city economically. However, on the flip side, if you, let's say, work outside of the bounds of the city and you're extracting money from those other towns, money, like you're getting paid from other, business people or whatever. If you're working outside the city, you're pulling money from. All right, let me just try this again. If you're working outside of that city, you're obviously pulling money from outside that city, not from within the bounds of that city. And then if you were to move back home, and you travel back home, and you spend that money, then guess what just happened? You just adding more money to the pool that you just add more money to that city's pool to like to kind of play around with, to to mess, to play around with. That's like some of the core values and core understandings of like group economics expressed in the book Poweronomics by Dr. Clyde Anderson. So if Chicagoans had a better understanding of this and we all got on one page as far as economics is concerned, then yes, we can actually fight against this situation that's happening, where we cannot, we simply just can't keep up with can't keep up with the living expenses. Um, Now, what that I mean, that will likely mean that yes, there will be the government will have to increase taxes so they can extract more money out of us so they can pay these so they can pay their debts off. But that's something else we can that's something that that's another thing that we can do um, to invest more into our economy. You know what I'm saying? Because if maybe we can somehow negotiate a better if we can negotiate something better as far as paying off the debt, like maybe we can pay a little bit less money for what, and then I don't know if you want to pay, I don't know if you want to add any interest to that or a higher APR per se, but I don't know. But that's how that typically goes. But if we can work out something where we can pay less money up front or at every given month or every given year, however they do it, then yeah, we can use that money to allocate towards investing into businesses that are I would argue that are specifically targeted at making money abroad or across the nationwide, but not just specifically trying to make money off of people in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think that's another way the city can bring in more money from outside of the confines or the borders of Chicago. Um, that's about all I got to add for this conversation. You guys got anything to add?
Well, you got anything to say, bro?
No, I ain't.
I've always said that Chicago is like the most American city in America. You know what I mean? Because it's reflective of America to me more so than any other city. What we have here is a place where the whole concept has been lost for like what it really stands for, what you're trying to get accomplished. And then it's like it keeps on moving on, but like, it doesn't have a brain or a direction or something like that. So like I said, if anybody could galvanize people and make them remember what the fuck they wanted out of life and how they could make that more indicative of what Chicago offers people, then we would have a chance. But I don't even think people know what they looking for when they say they wish it was better and they don't like the way it is and all of this kind of shit. Because money, you pay, people pay for what they fucking want. If it's like, I know everybody done heard this, I mean, I don't care what the cost, I mean, I pay for the quality of shit. So if the quality was better, then the whole concept of like how much it costs wouldn't even be a real thing. But like I said, you already suffering. You already fucking at a loss, and then it's gonna cost you more. That's insulting, you know what I mean? That's insult to injury.
Yeah.
So that's why people leave, you know what I mean? They don't want to leave. Most people I know that leave here, they don't regret it, but they miss it, and they miss it because there's not really a lot of places like Chicago. And if you from here, you're not gonna really feel as comfortable or as fucking at home when you go somewhere else because it's not like this.
Chicago's a dope ass place for real.
It is in a lot of ways.
A beautiful city, is I might add too.
You will never find people that really like this. You know what I mean? This shit is like full of characters and shit.
Yeah, it is.
And it's really unfortunate when you have to sacrifice something you love because of the finances, and specifically the finances. I feel like if money wasn't an object, then I think Chicago would be extremely populated, well overpopulated. Like we won't ever lose people. We always gain people every year.
I mean, we get people come here and visit and want to stay in the fucking jets and shit like that. You know what I mean? At cost, I'll pay you $300 to live in the ghetto for a week or so shit.
That crazy ass shit.
Because they want to experience that shit that motherfuckers feel when they fucking outside and it's hot in the city and shit.
Yeah, man.
Very, very, very true.
Okay. Yeah, man. So it's been Chicago Black Delegation Podcast. I've been Higher Thinking. There's been Hollywood Rail, and that's been our friend Brad. We'll catch you on the flip side. Okay, so this is gonna be our last article. It's like a 2 minute read, so we're gonna game past this. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Chicago Black Legends Podcast. I'm your host AC Aka High Thinking, and we have a new we have a TMZ. I'm sorry, we have a TMZ article about Floyd Mayweather apparently spending a lot of money and buying 60 buildings out there in New York. And I think this is a really good topic for us to talk about. Brad, what you think about Mayweather and his boxing ability, man?
His boxing ability.
Yeah.
Oh, he's phenomenal. You know what I mean? As a boxer, yeah.
No, you didn't have anything to say about his style and how he decided to choose boxing. You know the talking points.
I mean, Floyd Mayweather is it's a legacy case. You know what I mean? His daddy was a fucking like a champion. I think his uncle was a boxer. You know what I mean? And that stayed their family hustle. And he came up and he studied that shit correctly and became what he was supposed to be.
All right. Okay, so Brad approves of Floyd. What you got, Real? What you think about Floyd's boxing ability?
I always thought he was a smart boxer. I always thought that he knew boxing quite well, like Brad said, from his father and everything. The way he boxed, it was always kind of like he was in for making money. He was very strategic and very smart about what he did. I'm not the biggest fan, but I'm not a hater either. But I think his boxing ability was great, one of the best I've seen.
Y'all think he was ducking? Y'all think he was ducking people and man, waiting for them to get old before he's ready to box them?
I mean, Floyd had two careers. Floyd had Pretty Boy, and then he had Money May. Money May was playing it smart. He was getting as much money as he could for the biggest fights that he could. Pretty Boy was fighting everybody for real, and he was breaking his hands. And he was like, "Hey, if I keep this up, I'm not gonna really get that longevity." So. It's probably a better decision. He was, he fought in the Olympics and all that stuff. Floyd was really in the system of boxing. He wasn't like somebody that just came along and got a trainer and became a phenom. That was his calling.
All right.
And like he said, I ain't even a fan, really.
All right. This is why we need King Savage around, because he won't let y'all get away with that one.
He loved Money Mayweather, man.
No, you can't stand Mayweather.
Oh,
It'd have been the complete opposite. Anyway, but yeah, man. So, but
who's better though? You know what I mean? Who's
but
even in a better position? Shane was good, but you see what happened. And Shane a little punchy and everything, right?
So all that aside, man, Floyd actually did some really deep dope shit with his bread. He went out, boxed his ass off, whether you like him, whether you hate him. He what he chose to do with his money is something that needs to be studied. You know what I'm saying? Especially by that black community. So that's why we're here. That's why we're here at the Chicago Black Delegation Podcast. We'll study for you on what he did, and so we can, with the hopes of other. Let's say venture capitalists to come in and replicate to some capacity, right? So Floyd Mayweather, and this comes from TMZ. Floyd Mayweather Inc.'s massive $402 million real estate deal, buying 60 buildings. Floyd Mayweather, a landlord. I mean, and this is not really a big surprise. What like well-off celebrity isn't in the real estate. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of like the move. That's proven to be the. I mean, you hear Kamala Harris say it all the time. Like, real estate is it's like the biggest money maker or wealth builder in America, and it's probably because it's likely going to remain so until some government body does something about it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, when you own land, you really own something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you own something that everybody wants. Somebody's always
it
gonna want.
always appreciates. You know what I mean? It really never loses value.
Unless it's like in some bumfuck like location that you really can't do anything with. That's gonna obviously impact the value of that property. But there's a lot of things that affects the value of properties and stuff like that. So.
I mean, you can't put a price on like on space. You know what I mean? Like some shit that's yours that you are in governance of and all of that.
Well, if you, I mean, especially if you're happy with what you got, but I mean, I think some like location is everything.
If you're not happy with it, you could sell it. That's why it's always a value. You know what I mean? Like I said, either
I mean, but
somebody
somebody got
get rid of it and fucking have that and go and be somewhere else.
That location matters though, cuz.
Of course it does.
Okay, yeah, we agree on that.
Ain't no doubt about that.
So TMZ reports that
but what I'm saying is, I would rather be in a place I don't like with some shit that I own than in a place that I do like with nothing.
All right, Roger that, bro. Hold on, say it again, because my brain, you just crossed me over. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I said I would rather be in a place that I don't particularly like, but it's mine.
Okay.
In a place that I do like, but I don't own.
So like all those people. Oh, so you just shit on everybody that live in the hallway in New York, huh?
No, I'm just saying, like, if you at a store, wouldn't you rather like get some shit?
No, you literally. That's where you leave shitting on people in New York that just rent in the hallway.
Look at this analogy. I'm at the mall, right?
All right, go ahead, man.
And I'm looking at some shit, you know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, I want this, but I don't have enough to get that, so I'm gonna get this. Wouldn't you rather get that than to not have anything and just be there and be fucking like it's, I don't get nothing?
We giving the same analogy, but I ain't mad at you. Yeah, everybody would rather get what they.
You got me confused with my own.
you got me, but I mean, everybody would rather get what they want. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, but I mean, if you can't own it, then like, what's the point? Because it's never yours. So I mean, I think we all would rather. Anybody that uses their brain will definitely go down in rank as far as shoes if they can at least own the shoes. If you got to turn the motherfuckers back. So let me ask you this question though. So why do you think people lease over outright purchasing a car?
I mean, owning a car is like, not really an investment at all. You know what I mean? The depreciation is too much. It's too dramatic. You know what I mean? Like the moment you drive it off the lot, that shit is like half what it's worth. Then over the next 5 years, you're talking about. Like I said, you're gonna end up like, it'll be worth less than what you owe. So
way
less. That's never a good investment idea.
Okay, so that's why people just lease because they don't care about because they understand that there's no appreciation. There's no value in owning the car because they can just get a new car within.
I mean, from a financial standpoint, if you like one of those people that are really into cars and you're like, oh, I got to have this and I'm gonna own it forever and all of that shit, that's one thing. But if it's just to get your ass from A to B and to like, do your little, hobbies and fucking like all of this kind of shit, go to the grocery store, it's just not a fucking good investment.
It's not a good investment to the point of owning though. I mean, it's not a good investment for the purpose of reselling, but owning
you own something because because it's worth something, you know what I mean?
It's worth something, but it's worth what you use it for. Cause I don't plan on ever leasing for a car for the simple reason that I don't plan on paying owing motherfucking money for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? When I'm done paying my car note off, I'm gonna upkeep it, but I ain't gotta pay no type of. I'm not attached to anybody as far as main ownership of a car.
I've never leased a car. I've always owned all of the cars I've had. I do see the value in leasing, and I might they got some shit out now called car membership, and I'm thinking I might do that because everything it's all inclusive. You get your insurances, fucking maintenance, any kind of like whatever, and then you can switch out whenever you want to, like monthly. I think it's monthly. You can like say, hey, I wanna switch this out for a different color or a different model or even a different style vehicle and shit.
That's actually pretty crazy.
At one price, and you always gonna be paying.
It sounds convenient.
A car, you gonna have to pay.
Yeah,
it is.
It sounds convenient, but because the first thing I'm thinking of, okay, how much is all this gonna cost separate from like whatever. I'm wondering how much this is gonna cost if I just get all this all these things done individually. You know what I'm saying? Because I might be able to find a cheaper insurance. I might be able to find what all the things that you kind of listed. I might be able to find a cheaper alternative for or whatever. But I mean, you're not gonna be able to find any. There's no way you can just sit there and trade out your car for another car unless you're just going to Enterprise every chance you get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a totally different situation.
Yeah, so, yeah, no, that just seemed like a pretty decent idea if you got the money for it. But
like I said, that's the thing that made me think about that might be a good option. But like I said, other than that, you know what I mean? As long as you ain't like, a fucking person that's in the auto industry or a car person per se, you know what I mean? There's really no point in, owning it outright.
Yeah, I like muscle cars. If you're going to buy a classic car, keep
Right,
it. You know what I'm saying? Or something that you into that you might could resell. That you might could resell like some of them very old BMWs. Like a lot of Hispanics like to buy those and fix those up. But I mean, going to get a goddamn 2024 or some shit.
Plymouth Hemi Roadrunner is worth like $190,000 today, and when it was new, that shit cost like $15,000.
God damn.
So like I say, if it's a classic and some shit that's got like history behind it and all of that,
right?
That's different. That means you a collector. You a connoisseur, shit
right,
like
you
that.
Actually like that kind of stuff.
But like I say, it ain't no collectors and connoisseurs with like Toyotas and shit like that, like Camrys or something. You know what I mean?
I'm with y'all on that with the leasing and like higher thinking. Like he just like, man, if I buy my car out, hell, I'm gonna keep the mates. I don't see a reason.
That's your plan. That's the best option to have.
I don't really see a reason to keep going to get new cars every year.
Way they making vehicles now, like I said, 5-7 years max is like that shit shelf life to me.
Yeah, that shit don't even be lasting a long time these days. It's like they in it to make money. You know what I'm saying? Keep you coming back. So
keep a fail safe on that shit. So like motherfucker come back and get the next model.
Like they doing the iPhones.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like the iPhones be messing up every time.
That battery degrades.
Right.
We ain't gotta. No, that's not tree branched over here. So again, so TMZ. Well, did I read this? Yeah, I read this part already. So Mayweather says, growing up, I used to dream about owning a home just like the rest of us by myself. When you work hard, you can achieve anything. Mayweather told us after agreeing to the deal and sending a huge chunk of change to the sellers. 47-year-old Mayweather is buying the properties, mostly located in Upper Manhattan, from Black Spruce Management, according to The Real Deal. We're told Floyd is aiming to provide affordable housing to families who are struggling to get by. Of course, Floyd has one of the greatest pugilists to ever step into the square circle, retiring with a 50-0 record after defeating Conor McGregor in August of 2017. Interesting.
I didn't even know that was a sanctioned fight. I thought that was like an
exhibition. Well, yeah, that was, okay, what it is. Mayweather made bank after the fight, ranking in hundreds of millions of dollars alone for a 10-round fight. Rinse and repeat for the Manny Pacquiao fight 2 years earlier. Over the years, TBEs come back from time to time to fight in exhibition matches, the last being John Gotti III, and that's caused some people to speculate Floyd's having money troubles. But $402 million bank account sounds just fine. I think so. Yeah, so he's out here boxing. I mean, people love him. I mean, he's extremely marketable, obviously, and he's used that. He's used his financial ability to help out families in need. You know what I'm saying? Created some affordable housing. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is, I think this is the stuff that needs to be studied, and I think this is the stuff that needs to be replicated, especially amongst our black elite. So what y'all kind of think about some of the things that was being read?
I mean, if you for the people, that shit is like, what you do, you know what I mean? But it ain't, you don't see it often. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's a rare occasion.
You don't see it often. They do things because, like, they don't talk about it much, or you just think they just don't participate at all. Like, not to say black people specifically, but like, even like white celebrities and other type of celebrities, like would you say the same? I'm sorry. The question was like, is it because they don't publicize this type of information, or it's just not, they just don't do it. It's just not done that often at all.
It's probably a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
That's like I said, you know, I mean, most of these people, they like, you know, they like to be like, you know, real out there and like megalomaniacs and shit like that. So if they was doing something that was like, you know, of note, you would probably hear about it.
Tax write-offs and stuff like that.
Hell yeah, you know, I mean, anything that's gonna make make you look good, and you know, in the public and shit, because that's what it's all about now. It's public opinion. That's how people stay, you know, ingratiated to like do what they do. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So, what you think about these celebrities reinvesting into the community? Real?
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good idea. I don't think it's going to be broadcasted as much because maybe they don't want other people doing that. They don't want other people following that same idea and trying to help, you know, the community out.
You don't want motherfuckers to copy your ass being gracious and generous.
No, I mean, not the people that's doing it, but the people that's in control of media.
Oh, okay.
I think that they don't want other celebrities trying to do the same thing. Like I said in the beginning,
you think really everything is a conspiracy and shit.
I mean, look, man, maybe I do. Maybe I do come off like that, but I guess I'm just feeling a certain type of way about everything that I keep seeing. You know what I'm saying? Because it just seemed like every time it come to us, it's always something like, well, we can't do this, we can't do that, or you know, it's always just something that's gotta happen that keep us from.
Really hurt your feelings, huh?
No, I don't care for that too much. I ain't gonna even lie. I'm gonna be honest. If people out here doing things to harm others, violence and stuff like that, man,
I ain't talking about him going down. I'm saying that shit had to go that way. That it was like a fucking murder involved
with the key to the city and all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, I want celebrities to help. I want them to do it, and I think that's what he doing is good, because he done made so much money, and it's good to reinvest back into something that you feel is a worthy cause. I'm all for it. I wish I was in a position to help.
One of the problems too, a lot of people don't really know what they could do to make shit better and shit. That's why everybody do the same thing. They give away backpacks and turkeys and shit.
I see what you're saying.
So it's like, you know,
they don't really know.
Maybe if they really had a concept on how you could, like, you know, do some replenishing things that would like keep people, you know, fucking moving forward instead of just having this one experience or whatever.
You gotta get like higher thinking over here, man. You gotta read Powernomics, man. It's gonna help you get some good ideas on how to use your money wisely to reinvest back into the black neighborhood. But I think a lot of celebrities, they even might get scared to even do it. I know this is another conspiracy.
But hey, lay it on us, bro. Don't be scared.
But they might get scared to do it, man. They might get scared because they might feel like there might be another powerful entity that might come against them to take the resources and money away from them. They probably only limited to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like basically a symbolic gesture. Like it really don't really mean nothing, but it's just to symbolize and make it look like it's really good. Like giving away backpacks and turkeys. We know that don't really help anything, but the symbolism behind it is like, oh, they doing such great things. But you know, really a great thing would be put a damn bank in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Put some money together to put some more businesses. You know, give money to local black business owners and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That would be some great things to help out the black neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, build up the infrastructure, and you know, like I say, people have a better outlook if they had like, you know, better things to look at. You know?
Yeah, definitely buy out more real estate to make more affordable housing for blacks. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, be careful because not all black people be doing the right thing, man. There's some people come in and tear your shit up. So
you gotta have a vetting process.
Yeah, you gotta have just can't let anybody in there. You know what I'm saying? Sure. You gotta weed some people out. I'm all for that. You know what I'm saying? Some as much as I speak on black people, as much as I want us to do the right thing, some of us just ain't gonna never do the right thing, and some niggas is just gonna be dusty. From the time they born to the time they die, right. They just gonna be dust bunnies. So you gotta weed certain people out of your shit. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. And that's never gonna be an easy process. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, it's true.
I would say a system needs to be created. I mean, and then maybe like it says. I mean, that's it. We'll just for right now. It can be a test. It can be damn near anything. And I've heard different things. I've heard different ideas ranging from what those sororities and fraternities be doing, like hazing each other and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like like yeah, you can go crazy as far as your creativity. You feel me? But for the most part, yeah, like the goal for the most part needs to be the same. That our it needs we need well, we're not being bad as needed. We need to be in alignment as a people. You feel me? And those of us that are gifted, right? Not just not just with and not necessarily just financially, but also just gifted speakers and gifted like people as far as gaining attention and stuff like that in any way, shape, or form. Allocate that stuff towards the people that really are really ready to put things forth and create a great agenda or enable a great agenda for their communities. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I mean, so otherwise, yeah, like I don't know what's already like it's like I said, like this stuff. What this man Floyd Mayweather is doing is again. I think. I mean, man, like what you said. I just lost my train of thought. Like what you said regarding them not wanting people to see stuff like this because they don't want to be replicated. Yeah. I mean, like we all know what happened. We all are aware of those race riots that happened like all throughout like the 20s and stuff like 30s and 40s and stuff like that. It was like a specific like a true like effort to burn to stop all progress that was happening throughout the nation in black neighborhoods and stuff like that. And there was no investment from the government to restore. Like white people didn't have to pay any type of fines. Like none of that stuff happened. As a matter of fact, the police got in on it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like for all that stuff that happened, yeah, this could be a new way for them to like burn down our progress by way of stopping progress from happening to begin with. By way of hadn't the fact that hadn't
see, people got their own media teams now, stuff like that, and like the platforms that people get stuff out on is so like sparse and diverse or whatever. You know what I mean? It would be harder for like repression of stuff like that. You know what I mean? If people really wanted to.
Oh, so you saying that like individual media should be reporting on this stuff? This is not the government. This is not a government thing. This more is like an inability for individual media corporations or conglomerates to actually report in on when celebrities do something good for their communities or for their cultures and stuff.
Like I said, if people are like really famous and they really got like folks like follow their every move and all that kind of shit, typically they have some like measure of media that they control themselves. You know,
I get it. Yeah,
social media per se, whatever. That shit is bigger than fucking like regular national news for whatever.
So you saying they should actually report in on when their homie does something?
That if they did, they would. And like,
they would
like that.
Okay. So you saying that they simply just not doing it because
either they not talking about it or they not doing it. It's either one or the other.
Okay.
I thought you were talking about like people like what we're doing now, like hosting a show or hosting a podcast or whatever.
I mean,
I was gonna say
they got podcasts too now, right?
Yeah, but I was gonna say some of those you got to think about some of those platforms who is run by. You know what I'm saying?
I'm talking about like people fucking Twitter and shit like that.
Yeah, you talking about like social media sites.
Okay.
Kind of broadcasting yourself.
Like most people, like they promote themselves.
Right.
Like all of these people that are like super famous and shit, they got like fucking YouTube channels and shit.
Yeah, they do. Everybody going over to
they
YouTube.
They got Twitches and shit.
Yeah, that's true. But do you think that some of them might just because I'm a person that would give and I wouldn't tell anybody. I would be very modest about it. Do you think that some of them are just being modest?
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they don't want to say it.
I think
it depends on the person's personality. You can probably pretty much judge who's gonna like be a quiet giver and who's gonna be a fucking like a boisterous loud one. You know what I mean?
So do you think that should be corrected then? Do you think we need to teach people to be more vocal about their contributions towards the black community?
If it was really happening, I don't think that it
No, I'm
matters,
saying in theory.
Like I said, if it's really happening, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, but I think
There's
it
really
matters.
motherfuckers out here that's quietly fucking like supporting the hood and supporting the people.
Are you asking for the fact that to help others get encouraged to do the same?
I think that would encourage other celebrities to do that when they see celebrities participating and giving back to the culture.
I mean, that'd be a good thing. Foundational, organizational type of shit. You know what I mean? Usually, like, you know, when people, you know, say, hey, because this person is like generous and they doing this, I'm gonna fucking like, you know, show some of that same character or whatever. Like I say, usually that comes about like through association, you know what I mean? Organization, like you was talking about earlier, fraternities and shit, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's even competitive, you know what I mean? Motherfuckers be like trying to outdo each other and shit, which, you know, it helps and it's good for the people, so, you know, fuck it.
Okay. So, like I said, I think we came to a pretty decent consensus on this. We all agree that this what Mayweather did was dope. I think we all agree that, you know, obviously more black slaves should kind of get in on it. I mean, this is just basic you know, group economics. You know what I'm saying? One person that's well, not just one, because I do want more black slaves to kind of get on this type of thing. But yeah, one very talented, very marketable black person. Gets he gains favor, he gains resources, finances from other cultures, from other territories, even other countries, right? Other continents and stuff like that. And that money is allocated towards him, and he invests that money directly into underdeveloped you know, neighborhoods that just so happens his family probably came from. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I think this is something that we can use to fight back against you know, our current conditions. If we play our cards right, if the people within the confines of that community that receive those that funding, if they use that money the correct way, they can do something. They can do something big, like something that can, like what we was talking about earlier. Creating a system, creating a cycle where we can cultivate like the kids to go out, make money, and then come back and reinvest into the culture, so that we can kind of keep pumping out these these educated, you know what I'm saying, aspiring, you know, individuals that are inspired to come back to the hood and do good about a culture that created them to begin with. They created their success to begin with. I think that's a healthy cycle.
Representation makes a lot of difference, you know what I mean?
Facts.
And it's like, if you see people that, you know, you identify with and you relate to and they doing good things, you know what I mean, it's more likely that you will follow suit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you see a motherfucker doing a bunch of bullshit, you know what I mean, it's going to be a percentage of people that fucking follow that because they don't have established personalities or, like, you know, guidance and shit like that. So, like I say, you need, like, you know, at least, you know, an option, you know what I mean? You can't just have one side of the parents, you know what I mean? You gotta have at least an option for, like, you know, fucking somebody to, like, you know, model themselves out. That's psychology and shit, though.
And we're gonna get into that too. You got any words for this, for real? We better close it out.
No, I just want to see more of it. That's all.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we all want to see more of it. But otherwise, yeah, Chicago Black Delegation. We just messed my outro up. Been Chicago Black Delegation podcast, man. We'll catch you on the flip side, man.
Peace.
You out here, Chief? No. Oh, all right. Well, we closing out now. Oh, you on the phone? Okay. All right, Brad, man. What's your next project, man? What can we find you on? What kind of social media?
My next project is actually, like, you know, fucking trying to get this the synthetics investment together, you know what I mean? I'm trying to, like, you know, make some investments and really, like, you know, pull away from having to make money amongst people, you know?
That's well. All right, there you go. That sounds fucking fantastic. I really thought you used to be at the crib doing almost nothing, nigga. All right, cool. There you go. We got something.
I mean, that's the
Brad, I
goal.
missed it.
That's the goal. But
That's
you
the
gotta
goal.
do shit to
Yeah.
get there,
I'm sorry, man. You said it again. I missed it.
No, I'm just gonna get into some investment opportunities I've been hearing about and researching them. Whatever.
For sure. You got to tell us which ones it is.
So I don't gotta be out here.
Are you into trading? Are you into stocks or anything like that?
Well, not so much stocks, but more or less materials and
like gold, silver.
Like that.
Okay, that's kind of like stocks. Or what are you like? What type of investment platform or how are you trying to do that?
Well, I don't want to say too much, but I'm trying to get on the ground floor.
Gotcha.
On something that's gonna be heavily used in every aspect of technology and shit, and like I said, it is mineral or material based. And
okay,
that's the part of it that I want to get.
All right, cool, man.
Facts.
I like to connect with you on some of that stuff.
Sure.
So.
Facts. Real, man. Hollywood Real. What you got? What's in the pot, man?
Man, the same old thing, man. I'm be launching a website soon though, for my fitness stuff. Just trying to get people healthy, trying to get people fit, trying to get people health conscious and aware. And I'm gonna be launching something real soon based around that. Still out here, trying for the acting thing, but other than that, man, I'm the same old stuff, man. Just trying to get out here and make something shake and move.
Yeah, this dude, I worked with him a little bit, man. He would definitely squeeze some extra reps up out you that you didn't know you had.
Yeah.
You gonna be real mad about it too, though. But you know what? You gonna go home like, you know what? I didn't know I could do that many reps on that bench press. And thanks to this guy, real, I might actually implement that into my routine myself. But yeah, Real was definitely good people as far as getting squeezing out them reps and all that good stuff, man. Debbie put me on some new workouts that I didn't really that I wasn't really made aware of. And I think I think I need to spend more time in like an actual gym, you know what I'm saying, where I can have access to so many more things that you just can't have at home, you feel me?
And plus it just puts you in a frame of mind,
That gym aura kind of real, I guess, right?
Yeah, it is.
You go in there with an agenda and shit, just be like, let me hit this a little bit, you go in there like, I got to do this shit because I'm taking out my time.
Yeah, you got a financial investment.
Right. You pay for this membership and shit.
Yeah. Then you going to have some of the old cats that worked out at Bally Total Fitness back in the day coming over there helping you out, giving you some tips. And
it's the camaraderie.
Pushing you hard.
Total Fitness boys.
Yeah, they still wearing the gloves. And yeah, so, it's good stuff, man.
Nice. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much gonna be smooth motion as usual. Nothing too crazy going on. Like I said, I got my own little corner show going on. I just found me a corner in my basement, and I just ran and I turned the camera on. So that's been pretty fun. Just been talking about fun stuff like relationships and stuff like that. We're gonna be getting into more political matters, getting people more armed and ready as far as the voting and stuff like that. The ballots already came out and stuff like that, but for anybody that's just ain't completely sure about what they want to vote for, yeah, just take a look at those policies. Come out. Kamala Harris has a site. She has all of her agenda up there, and you can check it out. Trump is pretty transparent on what he wants to do as well. So pay attention to pay very close attention to the policies of these people. It's just too often I see people talk about a bunch of substantive things, subjective matters. That doesn't really change anything. I mean, some people may say, "Oh, what do you mean? Like her not being a presentable person, or just there's a bunch of stuff." But the only thing for me, the type of voter I plan to be, is if it's the policies or nothing. I don't care about anything about. I don't care who's black. I don't care about none of that shit. I need to know whom you are aligned with as far as your policy is concerned. And I want people to understand this as well regarding this politics shit. Like these things are promises, right? This stuff is not set in stone. All this shit that these people are trying to sell to you as far as what they want to do for these group or that group, again, it's not, none of this shit is set in stone whatsoever. It hasn't passed through Congress if it's not outright passable via executive order. So that's some things you gotta keep in mind. Like when you step into. I'm just saying, it, it's been some times where motherfuckers said they were finna do some shit, and they said, "Oh, I tried. I presented to Congress, and they didn't, and they fought against it, and they said no, so I gave up." Okay, well, I'm like, man, like shit. We know I was really banging, like especially with the one issue voters and stuff like that. Like, bro, we was really banking on you doing like this specific thing that what I'm saying. This is gonna change my life. This is gonna change my family's life. And then you gonna just say, "Oh well, I tried," and then you gonna toss your hands in there. Like, no, we want you to fight for these things. You know what I'm saying? We want you to. I mean, shit. If you can get rid of motherfuckers, well, I know there's only certain things you can do regarding appointees and stuff like that. But still, like, make some shit shake. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, y'all got one. Y'all want to add something else?
Nah, I'm good.
I thought you ready to fire back at me. This has been Chicago Black Daily podcast, man. We'll catch you on the flip side. All right. All right. Yeah, that was about an hour. I want to see something. That was 2 hours on the dot. Yeah. Let me see this real quick. So if I can do this.
Done, bro.
Yeah, we done, bro. Okay. Okay. I thought I could do
I'm
something
about to
quick.
go. I gotta fucking eat. I can't eat before I eat. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all coming
Yeah, no
through,
problem,
man.
brother.
It might be like this for a little while since Reese ain't gonna be around no more
Damn,
for a
that's
while.
crazy. Niggas slightly crushed his foot.
Looks like you're adjusting to somebody though.
I hope he get that, like, workman's comp and shit.
Yeah, he went some damn steel toes. He ain't what my guy ain't with them steel toes, man.
That's the damn foot up.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
know about them steel toes.
Yeah,
You was
bro.
wearing steel toes back at UPS?